Roland Garros, Paris, 2010. Novak Djokovic, the 3rd seed, is set to meet Jurgen Meltzer, the 22nd seed, after defeating Evgenij Korolev, Kai Nishikori, Victor Hanescu, and Robbie Gnepry. Noel comfortably takes the first 2 sets with scores of 6-3, 6-2. Stay tuned to find out all we have to offer. Let us first take a look at Novak Djokovic. In the 3rd set, the Austrian struggles, recovers, and eventually wins, progressing to the last 4 of a Grand Slam tournament for the first time in his career. After leading by 2 sets, it was Djokovic's lone set defeat. Following that outstanding performance, the Austrian was unable to get to the quarterfinals of another Grand Slam competition. Jurgen is already ranked 7th in the world in singles, has 2 Grand Slam titles, and 17 doubles trophies. In an interview with Sportskita, Meltzer reflected on his brush with Djokovic 10 years ago, saying, "Maybe it was my best individual success, but I also have other good recollections of victories against Roger Federer, Rafael Nadal, and Andre Agassi. I've had numerous amazing matches in my career when I was able to overcome the big guys. As a result, I have no regrets. It was an honor to be part of such a fantastic era," the former top 10 player remarked. "Early in my career, I also had the opportunity to play against players like Andre Agassi and Tim Henman. It was a period when there were many formidable foes. In this aspect, my single year of birth is noteworthy. I'm not sure how many top 10s were born in 1981. Some names that come to mind include Hewitt, Federer, Davydenko, and Lopez. On the junior tour, I also played with Nalbandian and Correa. After all," the Viennese concluded, "I can say I'm one of the top 10 players in the world. This is absolutely something I will be proud of for the rest of my life." Rafael Nadal defeated Meltzer at the Roland Garros semifinals in 3 sets in 2010. Novak Djokovic is the man to beat next. Seth Dillon, CEO of the Babylon Bee, backs Novak Djokovic. "There is no need to penalize the 21-time Grand Slam champion if he competed last year without being immunized. Djokovic's first U.S. Open was set for 2021. Finalist Medvedev beat him. Vaccine-free. Why not join us this year?" Dillon utilized Twitter in an extensive speech. John McEnroe praised the Big Three. According to McEnroe, Roger Federer is the most graceful player in tennis. Rod Laver has been promoted. Rafael Nadal is hell-bent on winning every point. He outperforms Jimmy Connors. Rafa has achieved the unthinkable. Novak Djokovic is both a terrific champion and the most personable. McEnroe, "I'm proud of what I've done and have learned from my successes and failures. I've made peace with myself. What if I had enjoyed the internet? It might have been disastrous. I would have done many unpleasant things if social media had existed when I was 20. The Big Three have changed tennis history. Rafael Nadal won the Australian Open and Roland Garros this year, giving him the all-time Grand Slam lead. Djokovic has 1 more major championship than the Spaniard, who has 2 more than Federer. The Serbian champion won Wimbledon for the 7th time, but he will miss the U.S. Open. The former world champion is training in Croatia and wants to secure a visa to the United States. Nadal will compete in the Montreal Masters 1000 the following week. Federer's speech will be more harder to give as he recovers from knee surgery. Basel's 40-year-old tennis player will participate in the Lavar Cup in London from September 23rd to September 25th. Rusetsky then compliments Novak Djokovic. Greg Rusetsky recently spoke with Tennis Channel on Novak Djokovic. "Djokovic aspires to be the greatest male tennis player of all time," Rusetsky adds. "It's feasible to break Margaret Court's record of 24 majors." John McEnroe has compared Djokovic to Tiger Woods. "He went through marital difficulties and has never been the same player since." Matteo Berrettini's game and masculinity are improving. Athletes with a considerable prominence in their respective sports are sought after by more or less well-known advertising businesses. This boosts their allure. The Italian tennis player was signed by Boss because he had both attributes. Matteo was featured on the cover, front page, and in a career-focused interview in the most recent edition of GQ Spain. There is a fresh wind between the lines for the face of Italian tennis versus Carlos Alcaraz, the current star of Spanish tennis. Berrettini was the first Italian on the court to beat Alcaraz, and was swiftly followed by Sinner and Musetti. Matteo Berrettini's photograph has already been requested. He recently appeared in a commercial for Head & Shoulders with the Jackal. Pascal Petrolo, often known as Lillo, told a hilarious joke a few days ago, a social media discourse that makes fans desire to see a game. Pascal Petrolo, popularly known as Lillo, challenged Matteo Berrettini on social media. "I was seeking for paddle or tennis partners, Matteo. A buddy heard you play both well," Lillo said. "So if you like, we can play." "Hello, Lillo," the Roman tennis player remarked. "We don't know each other, but I know you challenged me." Next, Nick Kyrgios uses his ability to win his first title in 3 years. The skill of Nick Kyrgios triumphs. Nick Kyrgios has long-term potential in 3 stages. He immediately expressed his worry. Before 2022, the 27-year-old Australian seldom won. Kyrgios' mindset shifted this year. He's in better condition and isn't tanking anymore. Before Sunday's final, he had reached the semifinals or higher in 5 consecutive contests. Second, he must avoid enraging the chair umpires or his fellow boxers. This will be difficult. Despite recent victories at Wimbledon and DC, Kyrgios puts his shortcomings on others. He hasn't slowed down or lost any games. Kyrgios must be successful. His untapped potential does not highlight this. His feelings do not impede him. Excellent net play, strong serve, flat forehands and backhands, flicky, spinny forehands, drop shots, and tweeners are his favorite strokes. Kyrgios played simply on Sunday, and in Washington, D.C., he took home the 2019 City Open. Nishioka was pummeled by his forehands. His return was weaponized. He utilized the drop shot when he was ahead. His one-tweener widened. Kyrgios beat Nishioka 6-4, 6-3. If Kyrgios so desires, he can force his playing style on anybody for the first time in 3 years. Now, let's go on. Daria Kasatkina plays with a new sense of tranquility in San Jose. Shelby Rogers got the backing of the San Jose crowd. Her first set was tucked away in her pocket. Tennis Channel commentator Mark Becci called her opponent Daria Kasatkina as malaise. Rogers was winning the long points despite her smaller, quicker, and more stable opponent. At 1-1 in the second set, Kasatkina listlessly dropped a backhand into the net. It seemed for a fraction of a second that she had run out of options and Rogers would finally be carrying the trophy. Was Rogers aware at the time that she was on the verge of winning her maiden WTA title at the age of 29 after more than a decade of trying? Whatever the issue was, something changed for her and the dynamics of the match. Rogers had been looking for the proper moment to try to stop the rallies throughout the whole first set. In the second set, though, she squeezed the gun a little too quickly and failed to capitalize on her chance. The possibilities remained, but she couldn't seize them all. Kasatkina's looping ground strokes into the corners, though, drove the American away, as she constructed a defensive fortress behind the baseline. After trailing 1-1 in the second set, Rogers would go on to win just 2 more games. Finally, Samsonova triumphs against Kanepi in Washington. After 25 minutes, Samsonova had aced at 113 miles per hour to tie the game at 4. There were no break points for either player. Before the match, Samsonova had won 35 of 43 first serve points. On a hot 90-degree Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius day that was not conducive to extended exchanges or a lot of running, this was a big serve, quick strike tennis between two ladies with comparable playing styles. Some supporters brought umbrellas to offer shade, while small electric fans were strategically placed near sideline seats to provide respite to Kanepi and Samsonova during changeovers. Kanepi eventually found an opening and swooped in with a 5-4 edge. Samsonova made 2 unforced backhand errors, 1 into the net and 1 wide, to give the contest its first break chance and ultimately a set point. Kanepi handled the subsequent 117-mile-per-hour serve, which he hammered deep and put pressure on Samsonova, who finished the set with an errant forehand. At 3-2 in the second, Kanepi had a break point chance, but Samsonova saved it with a 107-mile-per-hour serve winner and followed it up with a 119-mile-per-hour service winner and held. After an hour, Samsonova earned her first break point of the tournament after Kanepi's forehand hit the net. Samsonova took a 4-3 lead after Kanepi played a long backhand. Kanepi's errors continued to pile up, and Samsonova easily claimed the second set. Samsonova broke for a 5-3 lead in the third set, aided by a double fault, and then served it out. What are your thoughts about her success? That brings us to the conclusion of our video for today. We hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to press the subscribe button on your way out. Thank you for watching.